order of the day is a motion on need to stop discriminatory local language policy proposed by the Nigerian Army, standing in the names of Honorable Abiante and Honorable Didore. Abiante, you are still around? I now invite Honorable Abiante to move the motion.
Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I remain Awaji Inombek, Dagomie, Abiante, representing Andoni, Opobo, Nkoro Federal Constituency. I am a Rivers man. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, I rise to move a motion on the need to stop the discriminatory local language policy proposed by the Nigerian Army. Mr. Speaker, the House is aware and recognizes and salutes the continuing sacrifice, courage, and patriotism of the Nigerian armed forces in the various theaters of engagement, particularly against the Boko Haram insurgents in the Northeast Zone. The House also notes the statement by the spokesman of the Nigerian Army, Brigadier General Sani Usman, that the Nigerian Army has given its personnel 1 year, that is by December 2018, to learn and be proficient in the 3 major Nigerian languages of Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa. Aware that a standard basic level certificated proficiency test will attract language allowance, and the ability to speak the 3 major languages will be an added advantage to those applying for recruitment or commissioning into the Army. The House also notes that language is a roadmap of a culture and tells where its people come from and where they are going, as a quote from The Status of Linguistics as a Science by Safir summarizes, and I quote, "Human beings are not living in the objective world alone, nor alone in the world of social activity as ordinarily understood, but are very much at the mercy of the particular language which has become the medium of expression for the art society." The House is cognizant that Nigeria is home to languages numbering about 400, and that language gives insight into the personality and culture of a people. Therefore, such a local language policy proposed by the Nigerian Army infringes on the fundamental rights of the minorities not to be foisted with the linguistic and cultural hegemonies of major languages. The House further notes that contrary to the claim that the policy will foster esprit de corps and better communication with the populace to enhance information gathering, civil-military relations, increase understanding between militaries when operating abroad, and assist officers and soldiers to perform their duties professionally, it will in fact serve no purpose beyond fractionalization and marginalization in the Army. This House also cognizant that if prior to undertaking this local language policy expedition, adequate reconnaissance was carried out to gather intel, this expensive voyage in futility would have been avoided. The House equally notes that this situation, should it become a trend and continue unabated, will in turn lead to discrimination and exclusion from employment opportunities, promotions, and ambush of the legitimate aspirations of the overwhelming numbers of non-native speakers of Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa in the Army. Sorry, sir? The House also aware that the Nigerian society is heterogeneous, and as such is contemplating policies that must be taken by the Army hierarchy to steer discourse to what is integrating, progressive, and amenable to ensure mass involvement in national development and democratic processes, rather than pandering to primordial or tribal biases. The House further aware that the policy flies in the face of an increasingly globalizing world where proficiency in an international language is the current inclination. Because when we all use the same language, we have a common understanding of precisely what we mean and what is expected. I therefore call on this Honorable House to resolve as follows: to urge the Nigerian Army to continue with the practice of communicating in English in a multilingual army, as it is one of the cardinal points of convergence for the Army, and so it should continue to adhere to this time-bound and honored tradition. 2, resolve also to urge the Chief of Army Staff to stop implementation of the policy that seeks to compel non-speakers of the 3 major Nigerian languages to learn them, as it will give a head start to indigenous speakers of those languages and is also discriminatory and inimical to the cohesion in the Army. And 3, mandate the Committee on Army to interface with the Chief of Army Staff on the policy with a view to ensuring a stop to it and report back in 4 weeks for further legislative action.